r/ask Reddit. What is something common that has never happened to you? This is Jinx territory. I am not answering. Well, I haven't won the lottery, so there's that. Statistically, that is a monkey's paw of a wish right there. Being contacted by a Nigerian prince who needs my help and bank account details to secure his inheritance. He must be out of money. Already helped so many people. So many distant relatives. So little time. One time I was making fun of my ex and a friend because I had never sharted. Within the week I was sick and I sharted. So I will not be playing this game. Okay, this is so a thing. I've talked to multiple people and it seems as soon as you declare you've never done it, it is coming for you. This happened to me last year. Mayo, I've never had sex. Imagine having sex. Couldn't be me. Stung by a bee. Same. I've never been stung by any flying bee type creatures. Wasp, hornet, etc. I'm lucky. The summer I was 16 I had a bee sting my leg and a wasp sting my eyelid. These occurred within 2 weeks of each other and no sting since then. I've never broken a bone. I broke my first bone at the age of 49. Technically neither have I. The woman who drove her car into the side of my motorbike broke mine. And the kid who kicked me over when I caught him breaking into my sister's car broke another. And we all know technically is the best sort of correct. COVID. 2 years now, and I've managed to avoid it. I've been working and around people due to my job the whole entire time, too, so I'm lucky. Maybe you're genetically blessed and have no symptoms. My kids are like this. Chickenpox. I had it bad when I was a kid. They didn't have the vaccine available until a few years after I had it, but I remember it and it was not fun. I've got to get a shingles vaccine now. Because if you've had chickenpox, you're at risk for shingles, and that's worse. My mom told me I never had chickenpox as a child. Measles, yes, as an infant, in my mid-40s. Developed shingles, 1 month of agony, but at least it wasn't on my face. Get the vax. Never got food poisoning, but I just know I'm gonna get it soon. I had Campylobacter and it was the worst experience of my life. It was like shitting diarrhea made of glass shards, and doing it so often it felt like I was prolapsing while my a-hole bathed in acid. I can honestly say I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. My partner ended up in hospital with that. He was so sick. I really felt for him. It's never fun when you get a small case of gastro, but to have it that bad that the nursing staff had to change his sheets multiple times a day because he had no control over either end was completely demoralizing for him. Hitting a deer. I live in a tiny northern area and it's almost like a rite of passage to hit a deer. Ugh. Now it's definitely going to happen. I've never hit a deer either. The deer hit me. LOL. Very Rory Gilmore of you. I never had my wisdom teeth, third molars, removed. All 4 came in. Fit well. Doing fine. Whenever I see a new dentist, they're always surprised. I also never had braces. These may be related. Well, pat yourself on the back, my friend. Cause your teeth genetics really had your back. Edit. Out of all the hilarious things I post, comment. This is the one that gets 4k upvotes. LOL, I'm not complaining. It's just funny. Remember to floss, people. Right? My surgeon said I was lucky that 3 of wisdom teeth were impacted, so my insurance covered almost the whole surgery, saved for $200. According to the DRE program I was forced to take in 5th grade, I expected more strangers to offer me free drugs than the 0 times it's happened. Edit. Thank you for the awards, kind strangers. This is better than getting free drugs. Open bracket. I think. When I was in 5th grade in DRE, I always thought I would be walking down the street and some man in a trench coat would jump out and ask if I want some crack. Only free offers I've ever gotten were from friends of friends or friends of family that smoked pot and popped pills and asked if I wanted to try. Me in 5th grade, I have to be ready to say no when people try to give me drugs. Me in 12th grade, hey fellas, got any drugs? Never had a cavity. Never been on a jet plane. Never written a bad check. Never killed anyone who didn't deserve it. r/hollop. Technically, if they've never killed anyone, that statement is still correct. I completely missed the entire lockdown. 2020 was a normal year for me. I never stopped working at my job in a warehouse and I lived alone. I only have time to go out to the store anyways, so I feel like I almost missed out on something. I was sort of jealous of people that got to do lockdown. I mean, I understand the lack of job stability sucked, but man, I would have loved to be stuck at home for a while. I work in the medical field, but not frontline, so it was just business as usual but with more work piled onto a normal shift. Most of the people I work with are burned out. We could use a couple months off. Honestly, same. I'm incredibly introverted yet work an absolutely essential job. There was never a worry of losing my job, and I never went out enough for it to matter that I couldn't anymore. I feel the same way. Never have been stopped by a police officer for any reason and have never had a parking ticket. I got pulled over with lights and sirens because an officer thought I did a maneuver to dodge a breath test operation. He was wrong. I passed the breathalyzer. I was pulled over in our small town because nobody goes the speed limit at night. Nosebleed. I had them as a kid. I don't anymore. I'm thankful, because that was not fun. I had them most of my life. One day I ended up in a with one that wouldn't stop. They cauterized that nostril and haven't had one in 20 years since. Had coffee from Starbucks? Here is the secret. No one really gets any coffee from Starbucks. It's all coffee flavored sugar milk. I live in Melbourne. Starbucks lasted about 3 months here. Had coffee there in the States. It was awful. Jury duty. I got summoned for jury duty a few years ago. Got picked for a jury. Thought it was going to be a simple case like fraud or something. Nope. Gruesome double homicide. One of the worst crimes my town had ever seen. Trial took 8 weeks, which was one of the longest they had had in a long time. Almost 7 years later and I can still see the faces of the victims. It was a fascinating experience, serving on a jury, but depending on the case it can have a lasting impact. I served on a jury for an attempted murder and the victim took the stand. I will also never forget it. I still think about the way the perp stared at the victim when they walked out. Absolutely chilling. I have never won anything, like a contest, raffles, drawings, races, etc. You'd think by now something would have happened. You win the My Favorite Comment award. Congratulations. I'm almost 29 and I won a raffle for the first time ever this Valentine's Day. It was a very fulfilling experience. In my country, being robbed. It's really sad to realize that this is the first answer that came to my mind when I read the question. I live in Brazil. BTW. Saw the first line and knew it was Brazil. Sorta Sua XD. All my family members are from Brazil and every single one has been robbed at some point. Some more than once. Never had a wet dream. Thought I was weird for the longest time because health classes always said it was supposed to happen. Turns out, it's just as common for it to not occur. Edit. A wet dream is a nocturnal emission, informally known as a wet dream, sex dream, nightfall or sleep orgasm. Is a spontaneous orgasm during sleep that includes ejaculation for a male, or vaginal wetness or an orgasm, or both. For a female, is not male exclusive. It's not just a sexy dream you had, and it can happen without you remembering any of your dreams. According to a Medical News Today article, while masturbation may reduce the number of wet dreams a person experiences, it does not guarantee a person will never experience them. Evidence linking masturbation and wet dreams is lacking, but a person can experiment to see if it helps in their situation. So, yep, unexpected health research I guess. I think I heard it's less likely to happen the more often to masturbate. I'm not entirely sure if it is true, but if it that would explain why I don't remember getting any either. In my experience, yes, it's true. Now that they've shown that masturbating reduces the odds of getting prostate cancer, I'm fully committed to the cause. Pregnancy. Yeah, me too. Being a guy doesn't help with that. Keep trying. I believe in you. Never had a really solid group of friends. Edit. Thank you for the rewards and my highest upvoted comment ever. I guess a lot of redditors can relate to my loneliness. Same. I was always the traveling friend. Found groups of friends that knew each other forever and got along with them, but was never really included. Same. And I'm 30. Urinary tract infection and yeast infections. Every woman I know has had them. Not me. Edit. It's strange because I'm always dehydrated. I was severely dehydrated a month ago. But it's all good. I'm 60. Count your blessings because they are the worst. Especially where the cure for one sometimes causes the other. Death. There's indeed way more people dead than living. Damn, how did you do this? I had so many deaths. Never thrown a punchy work confrontational jobs where I could have. Security, bouncer etc. But I've never thrown a punch. Been able to use control holds and de-escalation in most situations. I guess this means you are an excellent professional. Been on a date. I'm 29. I went on my first proper date at 31. You still got time. This made me feel hope. Thank you. Have a boyfriend. Me too. I'm a straight dude. V. Me too. I'm a straight dude. V. Well, with that attitude it's never going to happen, is it? In the 70s, it was getting trapped in quicksand. If you'd told me back then that I'd make it to the 2020s without encountering quicksand, I wouldn't have believed it. Or being lost in the Bermuda Triangle. I knew I could never travel anywhere near there after the Navy ship disappeared. I've never been mugged. I'm from Medellin. Biggest flex in this sub. Brain freeze. I don't get them. People are amazed of how quickly I can drink cold things and not get brain freeze. Could it possibly be from lack of brain? I think that is my excuse. Well, I've never been to Spain. I'm in Spain but the S is silent. But have you been to Oklahoma? As far as I know, I've never been cheated on. How's that feel? I've been cheated on in almost all of my relationships. Really ducked up the trust I have in people. And it makes dating in your mid-30s pretty ducking hard. Isn't that the way? Never been shit on by a bird. Whistling. Can't for the life of me. I can't snap. Never went to a concert. Had a girlfriend. Never learned how to roll my R's. My maiden name is Spanish and has an R. I've never been able to say it correctly. I have never traveled internationally. Don't even have a passport. Don't even have a passport. Well, there's your problem, mister. Broken smartphone screen. Unsolicited dong pics. Almost 30. Been active on the internet since I was 13. And somehow I've managed to dodge that bullet. Likewise, I've never been catcalled, leered at, or sexually harassed. Rip your inbox. I was reading a rant one day about how this woman was sick and tired of the endless dong pics. I told my husband that I have never gotten any, but women are always complaining. He sent me pics of Richard Nixon every day for a week so I wouldn't feel bad. Been in a relationship where I have cared about the person and they cared back. My great-grandmother was widowed in her early 20s fleeing Nazi Germany and didn't find love again until she was in a nursing home at the end of her life. He was also a German refugee, a Holocaust survivor. His wife and son didn't make it out of Buchenwald. I didn't understand the gravity of that as a little girl, the circumstances that widowed both of them so young. But, I still remember being a little girl staring at their wrinkled hands clasped together, whispering sweet nothings to each other in German, wondering if I had to be old to really love someone like Elsa loved Abraham. It's never too late for love on, but I bet you'll find it far sooner than they did. Smoked a cigarette. I'm 36 and never had a cavity. I'm no like super anal about dental care. Just brush daily. I keep the same level of dental care and I've lost count of how many I've had. Genetics, I guess. People don't realize that genetics plays a massive role in dental health. I've never been in a fight. I've actually never got anyone even as a kid. As a kid my parents said I would lick people when I got mad at them. Born a pacifist. Never been flashed. I was at a cafe late at night with my best friend a few years ago. We were sitting outside and the place was fairly populated with other people. Suddenly a carload of attractive young women pulled up, flashed their boobs from the window and drove off yelling and whooping, obviously drunk or on something. The predominantly male patrons of the cafe all looked around at each other and laughed and spoke amongst ourselves proclaiming how awesome what had just happened was. A regular late night scene had turned into a magical moment where half a dozen or so men had suddenly become collectively elated by the abrupt arrival and departure of tits. Having had several boyfriends and having exes, I met a chap when I was 19. He was my first and only boyfriend, as we moved into a place together and got married 2 years later. We've been together for 42 years so far. I've never seen The Princess Bride. Inconceivable. I've never had a breakup. I've been with my first and only girlfriend going on 12 years now. First kiss. First hand hold that wasn't a family member or relative. Lost my virginity to her, etc. All in all, 10 out of 10 would fall in love with her again. Had a train come in time. I'm still sad that I didn't get to say goodbye to my cat the night he died because I was stuck for 5 hours in a train. I have never broken a bone in my body. With just one baseball bat we can make your dreams a reality. Divorce. Username checks out. Hangover edit. Just came back from drinking. I'll up TAFE in the morning to see if I'm hungover edit too. No. Still no hangover. And I drank a duckload last night. Being genuinely loved by someone I'm not related to. Never delivered a pizza to a sorority house and ended up in an orgy. Breaking a bone? All of my friends have basically broken or dislocated something, but the most I've ever gotten was a sprained wrist. Thank God, cause I hate the sound of bones breaking or seeing blood. Received Reddit awards. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.